First of all, we need to realize a real reality in our life to have this ability in our lives. And that is, the whole world is out of our control. First of all, you need to realize that. The whole world that you live in, this around you, is out of your control. People, situations, experiences, and other people's opinions, the things, all the things are out of your control. Remember that. Is that true? Yes. Now, when you take people, can you control people according to all the wishes that you have? No. Can you control the situations that you face in the future? No, you don't know about that. Right? Can you control the experiences that you face in the future? You cannot do that. And also, can you control the things around you according to your wish? No, you cannot control that for 100%. Right? So, first of all, you need to realize this real truth. The whole world is out of our control. But there is something that is within our control. What is that? That is our reaction towards them, our response towards those experiences. Right? So that is what in your control. Right? So normally, it is very hard to let go of the things or the people from our lives, because there is a nature of our mind that it has the clinging effect. Our mind likes to grasp the things and the people and the experience that we see. That is what we call the upadana. Supreme Buddha said, Yankinchi dukkhang sambhoti sabbang upadana pacchaya. If there is any suffering which arises in our life, that is because of the clinging of our mind towards them. Right? Now, it is very hard to let go of the anger. Right? It is very hard to let go of the sadness. Right? Now, people would like to let go of the hard situations in their life, right? But our mind is not ready for that. There's a special effect that it always wanders in those difficult situations, sad situations, in anger and evil thoughts, right? It is very hard to let go of those things. But remember, all the things that we experience in this world, all the people that we meet in this world, right? All the things that we have in this world, one day we have to let go of these things. Even though we cannot let go of the things today, one day, at the end of our life, we have to say goodbye to all these things, right? But there is something that we take from this life. What is that? The things that we did according to those stimulations. Our reactions towards those experiences, our reactions towards those people. So, if we collect that karma, right, that is the only thing that we can take from this life. That is the thing that only we own in this life. So, we have to remember, first of all, that the world is out of our control. Right? Things may fade away from our life. People may fade away from our life. And also, if you are going through a hard situation, difficult situations, remember, it will also fade away from your life, because everything in this world is impermanent. Nothing is there is permanent. Right? Nothing is permanent. Not even your problems. And also, remember, not even your sweet memories, sweet times, beautiful times. Everything is impermanent. So when the things are fading away from our life, right? When the people are walking away from our life, do not hold on to them. The problem we suffer is that we are holding on to those things, right? The more we hold on to things, the more we will suffer, right? The more we hold on to the things, the more we will suffer. Right? It is like you are keeping a red hot iron ball on your palm. Right? The more you hold on to that iron ball, that red hot iron ball, remember, you are the one who is getting hurt. You are the one who is suffering. But if you let go of that, you are not suffering anymore. So what you have to do is realize the reality of impermanence. Every person, everything, every experience, every situation is impermanent. So when those things are being impermanent, you can be happy by seeing the reality, because you have expected that thing in your life, because you know that these things are impermanent in my life, right? When the things are fading away, just don't hold on to them. Let them fade away. Let them go away, right? Don't hold on. The more you hold on, the more you will suffer. So that is how we let go of the things in our life, right? If you let go of the things, when the things are walking away from our life, you can be happy, right? You can be positive always, and you can maintain your inner peace within you. So don't hold on to things, don't hold on to anger, don't hold on to people, because everything is impermanent in this world. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. One day, a young lady called Kisa Gautami came running to the Buddha, carrying the dead body of her only child. Her child has passed away, and she refused to admit that her child has been dead. All she thought was that the child is not talking and smiling and giggling is because of a disease. He had fallen ill. So she went around the city calling for a doctor to cure the disease of this innocent child. But as there is no one, no doctor who can bring a dead to the life, finally, a wise man said to her, "Oh, young lady, I know about a doctor who can cure the disease of your child. He resides in that monastery. His name is Gautama the Buddha. Go and meet him, and he will give you a solution for this problem." Then Kisa Gautami came running to the Buddha, and here she lies in front of the Buddha, sobbing and begging to the Buddha to bring the baby back to life. Then our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, out of compassion, he looked into Kisa Gautami and said, "Gautami, I can cure the disease of your child. But before that, to make a medicine for him, I need a handful of mustard seed. Can you bring that?" Kisa Gautami's face was lit up with happiness, and she said, "Oh, Master Gautama, I will bring a handful of mustard seed from anywhere with no time." Then our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, said, "Gautami, not so fast. First of all, you need to remember you should bring a handful of mustard seed from a family where no one have ever died." Then Gautami said, "Okay, Master Gautama, I will bring that." So she went running, carrying the dead body of her own child to the nearest house in the monastery. there was an old lady in that house. Then she asked from that old lady, "Oh, madam, can I have a handful of mustard seed from you? I need to cure the disease of this child. I need it as a medicine." Then the old lady said, "Okay, young lady, I will give you a handful of mustard seed." Then the Gautami asked, "By the way, has anyone have ever died in your family?" Then the old lady said, "Oh, young lady, I am sorry to say, 2 days ago my husband died." Then Kisa Gautami said, "Okay, then there is no use of your mustard seed. I need a handful of mustard seed from a family where no one have ever died." Then she went to the next house and to the next house. She went all around the city, finding a handful of mustard seed from a family where no one have died. But finally, she could not find it. In each and every family, someone have been dead. Finally, she realized that she is not alone in this world. She realized that death is a common fate for all the people. All the people have suffered this common phenomena. Then finally she realized that her child is dead and she cannot bring her back to life. Then what she did was, she went to the jungle and she buried her beloved son in the soil, and she came back to the monastery to meet our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. Finally she said, "Oh, Venerable Sir, I knew my child was dead, but I was awakened from that sorrow." Dear devotees and my dear children, when someone dies, when the near and dear one fade away from our life, disappear from our life, it is one of the greatest, hardest experiences that we are going through in all of our lives. Sometimes it may be traumatic to many people. Sometimes they may cry over years and years because of loss of loved ones. So, Supreme Buddha said, this wasn't happen only for you. Remember, everyone, one day, everyone will die. That is the common fate for all of us. In 100 years of time, all of us are not in this world. We all have to say goodbye to this world. Remember, all the relationships, all the near and dear and loved ones around you will fade away one day from your life. Or you have to fade away from their life. That is the rule of this world. Supreme Buddha said, always remember that you have to be separated from the people who are around you, the people who love you most. Realizing this bitter truth, the common truth for all of us, will give us the motivation and will give us the inspiration to love the people around us more. Because you know that you have a little time. Because you know you have a little time to love people around you, care the people around you, look after the people around you, give your love and kindness to them. You will have a little time for that. So when you realize that, you can love them perfectly. And also, when they fade away from your life, you can see this reality, and of course you will go through some sort of grief in your life because of loss of the loved one, but Remember, you will have the strength to overcome that grief by the time. It will not be traumatic to you, because you know this was bound to happen one day. Remember, sun arises from the east, and at the end of the day, it sets from the west. No one can stop that. That is the reality of this world. That is the nature of this world. Sun arises, and at the end of the day, it will set. No one is grieving for that. Same goes with our life. We arise to this world from our birth, and we set out from this world from our death. So death is common phenomena. So what you have to do, when a near and dear and loved one fade away from your life, realize this was bound to happen. This was a thing that should be that must be happen. You have to stop grieving. And after a death of loved one, you should do more good things, more merits and wholesome things, in order to make that dead person, the beloved person, to be happy. If that person sees you, that you are sobbing because of him, because of the loss of him, he will not be happy. He or she will not be happy. So what you have to do good things after that, right? Do wholesome things, remembering him, and that will make him happy. So what you have to do, you can cry, it is not a problem, but do not let it go for a long time. Recover yourself from that grief and start living your life in a good way, in a wholesome way. In that way, you will have the ability to overcome the grief of your life. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. As humans, we all know that we make mistakes in our life. Mistakes are a common part of all of our lives. But do you know what most unsuccessful people do when they make mistakes? They point their mistakes to the outer world, saying that this mistake was happened because of that person, because of that thing, and because of this outer world. They do not admit their fault. Do you know what most successful people do when they make mistakes? They admit their mistakes and they move on. Remember, if you admit your mistakes, if you accept your mistakes and you start to move on, you will start to grow. You will start to develop your qualities. That is why Supreme Buddha said, this purity and impurity entirely depends on you. You are the author of your life story. That is why Supreme Buddha said, by one's own misdeeds and evil deeds, one becomes impure. By one's own wholesome deeds, he will become pure. Purity and impurity entirely depends on oneself. No one can purify another. So that means the purity and impurity entirely depends on you. If you do mistakes, if you do misdeeds, if you do evil things, those results of those mistakes is yours. If you do a wholesome thing, if you choose to do good, those good consequences of those actions also yours. So what you have to do is, you should always choose to do good things in your life. So how to choose always to do the good things? Remember, Supreme Buddha said, when a thought appears inside your mind, you need to consider whether this thought is good or bad, whether this thought is helpful for me and to the others, or whether this thought is going to distract my inner peace and the inner peace of others. If it is a good thought, if it is going to help you and to the others, you need to make it to an action. You need to do it again and again. And if it is an evil thought, you need to stop doing it. You need to avoid that evil thought. That is how you choose the difference between the good and bad, and that is how you choose to do always the good things. I know choosing to do always the good things is very hard. But remember, doing hard things makes our life easy tomorrow. Because all the good things, all the good achievements, all the wholesome things in this world are hard. We need to admit that. So do what is hard, do what is good, always choose to do good, and one day you can be happy about your life. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvon Saranai. So today, I need to share 2 useful tips that you need to practice in your life to win an argument without hurting others as well as without hurting yourself. This great advice was given by our great Arahant Sariputta. He was the chief disciple of our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. So he was the great person who gave us this great advice. Our great Arahant Sariputta says, if you have been accused by someone, if you are in an argument, you need to practice these 2 tips. Number 1, first of all, you got to be cool. You need to stay cool always. It means you should not be angry. Because whenever your mind is covered or controlled by anger, Supreme Buddha taught us, if you speak out of that anger, your words are evil. So the evil words may hurt yourself as well as to the others. And if you act out of anger, those actions will be also evil. So those actions will cause damage for others as well as for you. So first thing that you have to do when you have been accused is to be cool, to be patient, right? Don't be panicked. Don't act out of anger. You need to control your emotions. If you can control your anger, you are a great person. Because many people in this world, they cannot control their anger. They just let the anger to pass out of them. They act in anger, they speak out of anger. Don't let that happen to yourself. Because anger is not something that you should be happy with yourself. Anger is a failure. Anger is a fault. And also remember, the people who are being angry always are weak. So you should control your emotions and you should stay cool whenever you are being accused. That is the first thing that you should do. And the second tip is you should always speak the truth. Now normally when we get into a trouble, when we are in an argument, when we are being accused by someone, normally people tend to speak lies, right? Because they like to escape from that problem by telling a lie. Remember, never ever lie in an argument. If something that has happened, if a mistake has happened by yourself, you need to say that I have done this. I admit this and I admit my fault and I will correct it. So you need to stay in the truth always, right? Never ever lie. Because sometimes if we lie in an argument, if we lie when we are being accused, we have to say 10 more lies to cover that, to protect that lie, to save that lie. If you tell the truth, right, you don't need to remember anything anymore, right? So if you speak the truth, you don't want to remember anything. Just you say the truth and let the things happen to yourself after telling the truth. Let it happen. Because bitter truth is better than sweet lies. So what you have to do, always speak the truth. Don't ever lie, right? So it will make a depression inside you, right? You need to remember everything that you said in that argument. So you need to speak this truth always. So these are the 2 tips to win an argument. Because if you speak truth, remember, the person who is accusing you may blame you, or you will get into a trouble in your life. But remember, after that argument, after that accusation, you will win the trust of that person. Because he may start to think, this person had the opportunity to tell a lie and escape from that problem, but he did not do that. And he will get that idea that you are a person that who always speak the truth. So it is better to have the trust of the people around you. So what you have to do? You have to speak the truth. As well as if you stay cool, people will like you very much, because no one likes to be with an angry person. No one likes to associate an aggressive person. Always people like to associate people who are very cool, people who are not getting angry very much. So what you have to do in your life, practice these 2 tips to win an argument. If you practice and if you master these 2 tips in your life, I am very sure that you can win many arguments, you can win many problems in your life when you are dealing with people, as well as you will win the trust of the people around you. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. To kill the laziness and to do the things without laziness, to stop being lazy in our works, our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught us that you should have 4 great qualities. If you have these 4 great qualities within you, you will never feel lazy in your works. You will never feel lazy when you are doing meditations. You will never feel lazy when you are doing studies. To accomplish anything, any special goal in your life, you need to have these 4 great qualities. So what are those great qualities? These are known as 4 Iddhipadas. The first great quality, the first Iddhipada that you need to have to accomplish anything in your life and to do the things without laziness is called Chanda. What do you mean by Chanda? Chanda means the desire. If you have the desire for doing something, in one way or another, you are going to do that because you like it, you love it. If you love what you do, or if you do what you love, you will never feel lazy. Now, suppose that you are going a trip or a picnic tomorrow. So tonight, when you are going to bed, you never feel sleepy. You never feel lazy because your mind is excited and you love that day, that coming tomorrow. So you are going to be happy in that day. So if you are doing something that is you like, that you are passionate about, you will never feel lazy. So what you have to do? To kill the laziness, to do the things without the laziness, you need to generate the desire for doing that. If you are doing meditations, you need to have a desire for doing that. Without the desire, if you do the meditations and do the spiritual practices without the desire, you will feel lazy. That is the first great quality, Chanda. Here comes the second one. It's called the chitta. Chitta means the mindset. You need to have the determination, and you should have the correct mindset to do the thing that you want. You need to have a great determination that I will do this thing today. Right? You need to have that mindset of not giving up. If you have the correct mindset to do something, you will never feel lazy. Because you are well focused to that. Your mind is focused to what you are doing. When your mind is focused to something, you don't feel lazy anymore. You don't feel giving up anymore. You don't feel bored anymore. So what you have to do? You need to have a correct mindset to do that work. Then you will never feel lazy. That is the second step. Third step, and the third great quality, that's called the virya. Virya means effort. To do something, to achieve any good goal in your life, you need to give some effort to that. You need to dedicate yourself. You need to sacrifice your time, your life, your blood and sweat to do that. Then only you can achieve that. When you are dedicated for something, when your mind is dedicated for something, you will never feel lazy. So what you have to do? You need to dedicate yourself, and you need to try hard in your works. Try hard in your studies. You should never give up in your meditations. Then you will never feel lazy. Because you are committed to that. You are dedicated to your work. That is the third step. That is the third great quality. Here comes the fourth great quality. That is the final one. It's called the vimamsa. Vimamsa means investigation. You need to investigate what are the ways that I can do my work easily. What are the ways that I can be more productive in my work? If you investigate yourself in your work, then you can kill the laziness. Because sometimes we do the things that we don't love and that we don't like. If you have the power of investigation, that what are the things that I like to do? What are the things that my heart feels free to do? If you do those things, you will never feel lazy. So what you have to do? You need to have these four great qualities. First one is called chanda, the desire. Second one, chitta, the mindset. Third one, virya, the effort. And the final one, vimamsa, the investigation. So if you have these four great qualities, you can do the things without the laziness, and you can kill the laziness in your life. So practice these qualities and escape from the laziness and be happy in your life. Namo Buddhaya, Teruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Imagine a situation that you have been accused for a mistake that you haven't done. So when someone scolds you, or when someone complains you about a mistake that you haven't done, can you maintain your inner peace at that moment? Can you be kind to that person at that moment? Most of us loses our temper, and we start to prove ourselves that we are not wrong and you are the person who has gone wrong. So is it okay to do such things in such situations? Is it okay to always to prove that we are right in such situations? No. In some situations, we have to stay silent, we have to stay kind, and we have to maintain our inner peace without getting frustrated. So how to stay calm and peaceful within such adversive situations? Here's how to do it. In Dhamma, it says if you stayed like water, if you had a mind like water, you will have the opportunity to stay calm during such adverse environments. So how to stay like water? In Supreme Buddha's Dhamma, it describes about the water. The nature of the water is it can accept every negative thing. Now people use water for cleaning purposes. They wash their hands, they wash blood, pus, urine, and so many disgusting things. But yet, water does not complain. It does not blame. It does not become angry. It always maintains its peacefulness and it is always cool. So what you have to do in such situations, in such adversive situations, you have to stay like water. You have to say to yourself that I must stay like water and I'm not going to say anything and I'm not going to prove that I am right. So always maintain your inner peace. Don't let anyone to distract that. Don't let anyone to control your emotions and make you sad. Because if you make your mentality and spirituality distracted, that disadvantage is yours. If you maintain your inner peace in such adversive situations, that advantage is also yours. So what you have to do? You have to stay like water. Accept and absorb every negative things that comes from outer world. It may be criticism, it may be blames, scoldings, whatever the things they are, you have to absorb them and you have to emit another good thing to this world. You can be kind to them. You can stay silent and you can be patient. The more you develop these divine qualities, you can live happily in your life. You can have a heart that is without the anger and resentment. When your heart is escaped from anger and resentment, you can live freely and you can sleep better. So what you have to do? Stay like water. Be like water. The more you be like water, the more your life will be cooled. So I wish you all, may all of you have the opportunity to be like water and find the ultimate happiness in this world. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvon Saranai.